Grace is one of my favorite words. Everything that bails us out of our dilemma is grace. Grace means you can get all the way home without paying a single karmic debt. It's all free. It's just our gift. Wow, the times they are a-changin'. I just love it when you guys come up and tell me stories when we're having breaks. The shift is everywhere. You're already being overwhelmed with students, with people who want to come to you for healing and for help and for insight. Just keep in mind you're not special, right? You're just normal, cosmic, divine being, all right? But the energy of 2012, we have to accept the fact that it's different. We have to accept the fact that we are not going to plod along at the same pace we've been plodding along. It is accelerated, and you all know that, you felt that. The times, they are a-changin'. Right? Who sang that? That was Peter, Paul, and Mary. I keep giving away how old I am. Anyway, there is this fork in the road coming. Everybody on the planet will choose to go one way or the other. If they live life as they always have, then they will miss the boat in terms of using this energy to awaken. Where we used to have one person every 10,000 years on the planet awaken, now we're going to have millions. Before 2032. I don't know what that date means really, but that's the number I get. Before 2032, this 20-year transition period that we are in, we'll see the Garden of Eden restored on the planet. It's hard for us to believe. That's just a biblical myth. We don't relate to that. How can that be? But it is the time when gods and goddesses walk on this planet. It is what we are here to experience, and perhaps more significantly, we are here to bring it in. It is what we do. It's not work, don't worry. You're not going to be stressed out about it. You allow it. You hold in mind thoughts of peace, and that restores the Garden of Eden. When you are peaceful, you are transforming the planet. Okay? These are the most powerful times in the history of mankind on this planet. The shift is here. When you awaken completely, you're already 99% awake, but when you awaken completely, you will be towing, you will have in tow thousands and thousands of other people that you're bringing along with you. Almost everybody you've ever met will be tremendously impacted by your becoming happy, by your finding your opening to the infinite. Okay? It's a fun job, but somebody's got to do it. So it's your task. Okay. All we're looking for here is a complete 100% change from who you were to who you're going to be. That's simple. Simple. Okay. No problem. Well, one of the interesting things about the Course in Miracles that I find is it makes it quite clear that this is an illusion we live in. We're in a motion picture. We're not in reality. We're just watching the movie here. Therefore, no harm is done. We've all watched movies where we got very involved in what was happening on the screen. So involved that we had all the physiological reactions. Our heart rate would go up, we'd get angry, palms would sweat, we'd want to run up on the screen and kill the bad guys, and we were completely immersed and involved. Same thing happens in a dream. When you are dreaming, you absolutely believe that what you're experiencing is real. When you wake up, you say, thank goodness that was just a dream. Okay? When you leave this body, you will say, thank goodness that was just a dream. I once asked my helpers, why would anybody come to this planet? I just don't get it. You know, this is just not fun. A few moments of fun, but mostly this is just not fun. And they said, let us show you something. They took me on a little tour and introduced me to some graduates of planet Earth. You'd only have to meet one before you would say, there's nowhere else I would go. That's where I'm going. I want what that guy has. Okay? The graduates of planet Earth are so balanced, so happy, so ecstatic, so blissful, so complete, so whole, that once we meet one of them, bring it on. I'll do my lessons, right? Hey, bankruptcy, no problem, right? All my family dying off, no problem at all. Just take me through it. I want to become a graduate of planet Earth. Okay. It is worth the trip. Okay. You may doubt that occasionally, right? But it is worth the trip. And the main thing you involved here, you would not miss it for anything, is the healing of the planet. You just wouldn't miss that. You've been here so many thousands of times when it was all struggle, all appeared to be disaster, right? And you get to be here when it all turns into wholeness, to love, to the Garden of Eden. You wouldn't miss it. You really wouldn't, right? I tried to check out once. I used to pursue money and position and that sort of thing. Got myself in a position where I had a business, didn't know how to run a business, but I thought that's what you're supposed to do. And I had taken all these steps and everything. Well, I lost it all. I was bankrupt. I'd lost my home. I'd lost my marriage. I'd lost everything. I had zero left in my life. 2 o'clock in the morning, I was sitting on the sofa in my living room, which the bank now owned, and I said, if there's anybody out there, is it okay if I kill myself? Twice in my life, I've heard an audible voice. Often I get the interior voice, but twice I've heard an audible voice like somebody was standing right there. Very gentle, very kind, simply said, not allowed. That was the worst thing I could hear. That meant there's really no way out. I've had it, you know. Well, that's often referred to as surrender. When you get to the place where you absolutely know that you have no answers, that you cannot figure it out, you cannot solve it, nobody can help you, you're at a complete dead end, that is the most divine place a human being can find themselves. You've got nowhere to go but to God. Most people don't go to God until it gets really, really bad. I used to joke and say, people don't turn to God until it gets really bad. And God is so loving that God's going to make sure it gets really bad. So you'll turn to God. That's not true, but we make it so bad, we turn to God. Now, what happens when you reach surrender? When you know you have no answer, hopelessness is all that there is. Nothing left. 2 o'clock, I'm on the sofa asking permission to kill myself. 6 o'clock, 4 hours later, the phone rings. It is Carol Parrish, a spiritual teacher who lived a few miles from where I lived. And she says, Spirit just told me. Hey, this is going to be good. Spirit just told me to call you up and give you a scholarship to our retreat, which begins tomorrow. I couldn't do that. I couldn't come up with that. You mean the universe is going to bail me out? I had no money. This retreat was held at a beautiful lodge about 60 miles from where I lived on a gorgeous lake. And I said, I'll just drive over there and sleep in my car. Maybe somebody will buy me a sandwich or something, right? Might need tissues. As I walk in the lodge door, the public address comes on. It says, Paxton Robey, please come to the front desk. I walk up to the front desk and the clerk says, somebody has paid for your room and board. Here's your room key. At that retreat was a woman who was giving free astrological readings. Her name was Barbara something. I thought, that's exactly what I have in my pocket, so I can pay for that. Went down, got my free astrological reading, fell in love with her, first words out of her mouth. She looked at my chart and she said, you've been through hell. I thought, I got a good reader here. All right? And she proceeded for 30 minutes to tell me if I would not resist what is. Don't resist what is. This is what the rest of my life would look like. Here I am. What a fabulous reading. I just got bailed out moment after moment after moment after moment. After I said, I quit. I surrender. I have no answers. God, it's either you or nothing. You're the only hope I got left. Get to that place. It is so divine. The universe will step in and rescue you, and rescue you, and rescue you, bring you to the light. Marvelous. So everybody has a few things left in their life that they need cleared, healed, released, whatever that might be. We're going to start that process right now. Later we're going to read for each other. And as we read for each other, you will get many answers. And you guys, some of you talked to a flower yesterday, didn't you? Doesn't that mean you can talk to the trees? Doesn't that mean you can talk to your car? Doesn't that mean you can talk to anything and everything? Yeah. We're not going to rely on our outer senses. We're going to use our inner senses. That's where all the answers lie. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is, if you don't like the idea of reading for people, you may not like the idea of standing up in front of this group. We're going to introduce ourselves. This is a magic chair. It really is. I have no idea ever what I'm going to say until I sit in this chair. So it is a magic chair. Magic chair. So, you guys are going to come up here one at a time. Introduce yourself. Now, this is just a 30-second process, okay? We don't need a big dissertation. We don't need the ego to get in the way, okay? We want you, first of all, to tell us who you are. Now, let me tell you who you are not, so you can skip that. You are not a man or a woman. You are not a body, right? You are not a person with a certain education, background, training, vocation, whatever. We could care less about that. I have a picture on my wall at home that I cut out of Enlightenment magazine of an old fella, 90-something years old, from India. He never went to school one day, had no education whatsoever. He did odd jobs or whatever he could do to get through life. One day, he awoken. He awaked. He was enlightened. The door opened. That's who he was. He spent the next 10 years dancing and singing naked in the countryside. It's a warm country. Yeah. Then he gets a message telepathically in his head that Swami Vivekananda would like to see him. So he runs and dances and sings down the road to Swami Vivekananda's ashram. He arrives at the ashram. There's many people around there that witness all this. He goes in and he sits in meditation with Vivekananda for 10 minutes. Not one word, nothing was said. He left Vivekananda's and spent the rest of his life teaching. That was his mission on the planet. How much education did he have? What does it take to get enlightened? Do you need to be a successful business person to become enlightened? Well, if you're a successful business person, you got to get rid of that impediment first. Right? So we don't need any of that. So we don't care about that part of stuff while you're introducing yourself. Who are you really? Can you tell us who you really are? Something closer to the truth than I am a human being. Okay? Now, you have things in your life that you would like to have a little help clearing. We cannot do it alone. The Course makes that quite clear. We need help for everything because we are not alone. We are not separate. We must acknowledge our connection with all beings. Okay? You are working on something. We all would like to assist you with that. So we'll do several things to help assist, but to open that door, if you're comfortable, you may share what you need help with. Okay? I'm lost here. I don't know what to do with this. Been working on this for years and can't do it. That's all we need. If you're not comfortable saying it, then just say, I am holding in mind what I need help with. That'll work too. Okay? Need a little help. Everybody in the room at that moment will project to you peace, acceptance, love, joy. Later on, when people read for you, without even thinking about it, they will give you another clue as to how to solve your issue, how to release your issue. Okay? So, this will leave us at the end of the day in a much healthier emotional state of being. Okay. So, 30 seconds now, no dissertations. Okay. I'm going to leave the chair. You guys will decide when it is your turn to come up. We won't assign people times to come up. You will be held in a state of unconditional acceptance while you are here. Then the next person. Now note who's sitting around you, and if at the end somebody hasn't gotten up, give them a little nudge, okay? All right. Little help for you here if you need it. Two of my buddies that always help me when I'm speaking. This is Babaji, Okay. This, Anne has the story of this picture. I don't remember it exactly. This is a portrait of Jesus painted by
a 9-year-old girl.
9-year-old girl. And you can get this off the internet somewhere. Yeah. So if you just look at these guys when you come up here, they'll be glad to assist you. Okay? All right.